Continuing on from the thing where I almost started last time, but then I realized that, I should split it. Well, my dad showed me a picture of an well, not a picture, a video of an orangutan driving around a zoo in a golf cart, and, it was kind of cool seeing, an orangutan being, like, having the dexterity to drive a vehicle. I mean, I've seen a parrot drive a a Segway, but, I'd say a go-kart requires a bit more dexterity. Regardless, he asked me if it reminded me of somebody. I looked at it and immediately went, yes, it reminds you of Boris. And my dad was like, oh, well, it reminded me of Trump. And it's kind of funny how, the orangutan... I mean, I'd say I'm more correct, because, the orangutan looked a lot more like Boris than like Trump, but, oh well. So just... Okay, stop, please. Yeah, I made a mistake here, where, I did not limit the ammunition count. And I will want to, okay, so... East Iron. East Iron ammo. So then, add station, central munitions, 30 seconds, Orion activity, add station, East Iron ammo, empty cargo, or 5 seconds of inactivity. Go! No, come back here! That was a... Okay, I just realized I have all the ammo, but, okay. There he goes. Oh my goodness, stop. He's heading back. Back! Come on, okay. Okay, good. Now that that's pumping, want to go back. I want to get some electric mining drills for, I'd say, obvious reasons. And, so let's think. I'm gonna need, for the inserter thing, I'm gonna need a 24x2. That's gonna be, in total, 48. Yeah, 48 fast inserters. Which will be 92, because it'll be times 2 for the importer and the exporter. So let's do that now. And like 48 steel chests. 40. There were a few Twitter moments recently, made by sheltered kids, which, we all make fun of, like, the types of sheltered kids that end up saying dumb shit on Twitter, but it's like... You know, I'd kind of prefer being, you know... I kind of prefer being an ignorant idiot over being how I am right now. The whole knowing too much idea is, a real thing, and, it is a bit depressing when you just... You can see all that's wrong with the world, and you can clearly see all the ways that you can fix it. And knowing that there are world leaders that will just kind of ignore that for their own personal gain, it's depressing. There's no way around it. A great example, I'd say, would just be, well, Russia. If you're unaware, Russia is a massive oil oligarchy, which means that, yeah, it runs on oil. Just like, just like the American military, of course, but, here's the thing. America has not annexed Mexico yet. What is, essentially happening, within right now within Ukraine is, imagine if America started funding secessionist movements in Baja California. Then, once the secessionist movements the Americans funded rebelled, the Americans were like, well, you see, these guys really love us, and then they just move in their troops to defend their land, which obviously isn't actually their land, but they have the bigger gun. And that's kind of depressing, knowing that world leaders are, well, not maybe fully powerless, basically nearly powerless right now, because Russia's a nuclear power, and there are very few ways to approach nuclear powers that don't end in a very large amount of explosions. Now, we can always talk about the, I guess, funny moments. Like, I specifically remember just a meme going around where you can just get somebody to debate Putin. Which, as funny as it would be seeing somebody like Vush debate Putin, it wouldn't work. And, it's kind of extremely worrying seeing that there are people who are defending Putin for saying shit that's extremely similar to the justifications the Nazis had when talking about Ukraine. Because, fun fact, if you ever look at, like, if you ever talk to a Ukrainian, they will tell you immediately they want to be a part of the Western world. They want to be with us, not with Russia. Russia is trying to basically hold them hostage because Russia wants to exploit them, their land, and their people. It's simple as that. There's no US invasion. There's no nothing. All this is a very simple situation where Russia is trying to make sure that, well, Russia is basically trying to keep the situation as it was before, which is impossible right now due to the situation the world's in. The world is changing, and Russia cannot accept that. As I said before, Russia is an oil oligarchy. The world changing to them is pretty horrible, and you can see right now they're trying to make us basically freeze to death by raising gas prices because we are unhappy that they're trying to invade a sovereign country. Funny thing about that, though, is we don't care. Russia raising their gas prices is actually it's actually a good idea for us, because it will actually make our governments, because I am European, some of you may not know, I live in the EU, my accent is British-ish, because of the people who I have basically watched, and that's how I learned this stuff. And it is really kind of interesting seeing how seeing people who think I'm British and then they kind of get a sigh of relief when they figure out I'm not. But memeing about Brits aside, you're gonna see people defending Putin, defending Russia, etc. What you need to know is the vast majority of people who defend Putin are either stupid, are either fascists / neo-Nazis who are perfectly aware of what they're doing, and the reason why they're doing it is because they're fascists. You see, a lot of fascists are defending Putin right now because they know that, well, Putin supports basically neo-Nazi organizations, and they know that, well, they will basically just have a free pass if they support him. But, back to the whole situation of kind of being depressed because you know how the world works. If you want an example, trains are objectively the best form of transportation. They are the most efficient, they are the cleanest, and in general, they are the best. Now, with there's some people who don't understand why trains are so efficient, and then you explain to them how rolling resistance works. If you're unaware, rolling resistance, first of all, is when you have rubber wheels rubbing on tarmac, that basically creates a lot more friction and a lot more inefficiencies than if you have metal wheels rolling on a metal surface. Which you may think is kind of obvious, but trust me, to some people it is not. Going on further from that, trains are really efficient in another really good way, which is, unlike cars, trains can be electrified extremely easily. As an example, the simplest form of electrification, overhead wires, are actually extremely simple when you actually think about it. And trains in general, yeah, they do have a larger, I guess, upfront cost because they're larger machines than something like a bus. That'll be like being confused why an SUV, like, costs more than a smart car. It's because the smart car has physically less materials going into it. The thing is, another, like, hidden efficiency with trains is how simple the drive system is. All that a train really needs to have is a proper set of regulators, and the engine has very few moving parts that can last forever. Look at, like, you can see if you ever go to a lot of, less well-off countries, and even, like, the more well-off countries in Europe, a lot of our trams are still old. And they're still completely fine. Like, yeah, the tram engines are not as efficient as their, like, modern counterparts. But if you actually take a pretty decent look at it, they're pretty alright. If we just quickly take a look, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, so I'll need, 6, but I will, okay. So I'll need a, oh god, I'm gonna need to figure out how to build a 6 balancer. I've never done this before. Okay. Anyways, another important thing which a lot of people need to realize is that, electrifying stuff is just the future. And, it's kind of depressing seeing how many people fall for the, tech bro drift that, a lot of people like Musk start pushing. A tech bro drift, for those who are unaware, is, well, it's the idea that we can just innovate out of all of our problems. It is commonly pushed by rich twats who want your money. And people like Musk will basically go around and they will say that we can simply innovate our way out of our problems. Just buy my product with your hard-earned cash and we will solve this big issue. Please don't think about how complex the issue is, just give me your money and it'll automatically be solved by a purchase of my product. If you do not understand the issue in this, it's because it doesn't solve anything. And generally speaking, I mean, that's how it usually goes. And very often, a lot of these people scoff at trains, which is kind of funny and kind of depressing at the same time. Like, you won't believe how many of these ingenious inventions people herald as the second coming of Christ are just trains. There was a recent brilliant example. There was this... what was it? It was some, like, dumb gadget barn, which is the name for them. Gadget barn because, they're, like, weird, shitty gadgets that don't really work well, and Autobahn from, you know, and barn from the Autobahn, so gadget barn. Essentially, it was, imagine a truck, imagine just, like, something like a train, but worse in every single way. And the brilliant thing is, you can actually have a higher capacity than those shitty things they have invented, or innovated actually. Yeah, you can make something better by just taking an intermodal cart and then, well, you already have something better. But you just have so many of these terrible tech progress, which, look, you want to hear a better idea? Take old diesel electric locomotives and convert them to run on electricity. You are gonna be doing a lot more to actually innovate. But, the issue is, of course, that, the concept of a essentially just refurbished, diesel locomotive so that it runs on purely electric sounds a lot less wowzers to a lot of the population than, a tech progrif. That's why tech progrifs work. That's why companies like Tesla and, like, the Hyperloop, that's why stuff like that exists. Is because a lot of people are really, really technologically illiterate about this sort of stuff. And I can't blame them. I mean, I am really illiterate about a lot of stuff that is outside the tech field. The only reason why I'm not technologically illiterate is because, well, my life kind of depends on me being technologically illiterate. It's what I'm good at. If I was technologically illiterate, I mean, you know, if I worked as, like, if you work as, like, a designer in a company that creates shoes, your technological literacy needs to be a lot lower than somebody who is, an actual engineer, which, you know, is a bit of an issue, considering that, you know, the thing is, drifts like that never work on engineers. They always work on the masses, because the masses don't really know that much about this sort of stuff. Also, I just realized I'm gonna need a lot more, six-way... I'm gonna need some of those splitters. I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm gonna need a bunch more. Let's head back, I guess. Brakes engage! Okay. So, I mean, the good side is we are nearly complete. The bad side is, even though we are nearly complete, maybe a better spot for that unloading thing would have been up there, but, oh well. Yeah, I'm gonna just build a balancer. If you're wondering why not just do this, why not just do something else and then a balancer, well, I'm lazy. 10 of those, and let's make some, ooh, no, yeah. Actually, let's just get some more of these guys, so building these peeps is a bit easier. Another, I'd say, problem, well, I mean, yeah, I'd say it's a problem that I've seen with a lot of people is, the general political kind of, basically calling things political. I dislike that, because everything is a matter of quote-unquote politics. And yeah, literally everything is. And for a pretty clear reason as well. It is because, well, how do I put this? The world is not isolated. Whatever happens, wherever it happens, it is connected to another piece of the world. And, a lot of people are really anti, well, that. Because they just kind of don't want to hear it. And, I understand that completely. But what a lot of those people kind of do is they just try to sweep, like, politics under the rug. And, there's a common saying among especially the more left spheres where people don't really like centrists, and they even call them stuff like, basically just the, you know, a useful idiot for the alt-right, which, to some people, that doesn't maybe make that much sense. But, once you start actually thinking about it, here's the thing. You need to be politically active. I'm serious. Being politically active and understanding, like, the political situation you're in, properly standing up for the rights of you and for the people you care about, is what we need to be doing. Because otherwise, we're letting them win. And if you don't understand what the point of all this is, well, you need to understand that, simply put, if you're not gonna stand up for your rights, I'll be real with you, nobody else will. A lot of the situations I see where people are like, well, who really care? I mean, who would bother? And, the situation always ends up kind of being the exact same. Where people really just do not, people just kind of ignore the fact that, well, that kind of shit happens. I know I'm just kind of rambling while trying to stare at stuff. Hold on. I did this completely wrong. Hold on. I built a 66 and not a 64. As much as I would love to nade this, I can't. Just, yeah. That was a really cool 6-to-6 balancer, but I only have 4 exits. That's what you get for talking instead of thinking. Okay. Now, let's try this again. Okay. Yeah, 6-to-4. So, Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Okay, now it's just a 4-way balancer. Okay. And there we go, that's it. Okay, so, yeah. You may be wondering what the goal is about me talking about, like, these more serious topics while playing a game like Factorio. And, well, the reason is, I honestly want more people to care about this sort of stuff. Not caring is how you let the world burn. Not caring is the simplest way that you can let people who want to destroy the world win. You need to care about stuff, especially stuff that affects all of us. And, you really need to be made aware of people who want to, like, exploit that sort of stuff. And, well, you need to be, like, vigilant when you well, essentially fight people like that. Not, like, physically fight, but when you verbally fight them, we need to prove them wrong. You need to show others how they're wrong. The idea of, just kind of passively standing by while watching the world burn is something, like, depressing to think about, but it's actually something a lot of people do actually do. Maybe not, something they do on purpose, but, it's what happens. Okay. We're starting to have attacks on the main base again. That's not good. How is the whole munitions thing doing? Okay, they have a lot of ammo, they'll be good. And these guys are already full. Okay, that is... Whoops. Where? Okay. Now, as these guys are producing pollution, you will start seeing attacks form here. Something I'm gonna quickly do, though, which I forgot, is to build a proper, like, just balances in these guys. Which, if you saw me not do this, you're probably screaming at me that, please, please, no, stop, please. And, I understand your pain. I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, balancer, it's gonna balance all the stuff out. It didn't. And even though right now some of these guys, like, up here look balanced, you see, this is obviously made so that, it supplies more than the demand is. So that later on, once, we start running the running the patch lower, we will still be running at, we will still be running efficiently, we'll just be mining less stuff in total. And, yeah. I'll make the same sort of extractor thing when we get back. But, I will leave that to next time. Because if you run away, we are complete. These guys are getting filled to and... What? To and over the brim with iron. Taking this into automatic. We are going back to offload our cargo.